Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, of course. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story comes from One River 7856 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit. And it's titled, Am I the arsehole here for saying I would never have chosen my husband as the father of my child? I, 37 female, and my husband, Liam, 30 male, have 2 children. I'm currently pregnant with our third, and last. Liam is a wonderful husband and a fantastic father. I was out at brunch with a few friends of mine. I was telling them a funny story about my cravings and how Liam had made a cake from scratch for it. A friend of a friend, Paige, said that I chose so well, and that she should have put as much thought as I did in choosing him. I have a reputation for being really thorough and thinking things out before doing anything. The responsible one. I told her that I never would have chosen Liam to be the father of our first child, but I'm so grateful he was. I was very lucky. Our pre-marriage life was messy. I was with another man, Dave. Dave was a steady, reliable man and we had been together for years. Dave made a new friend who was Liam, and I could not help but absolutely hate him. According to him, Liam made Dave feel young again, and he was desperate to reclaim the sense of youth he lost by being responsible since he was young. He spent all of his time with Liam and other bros. Dave would spend every night out partying until 2 or 3 a.m. He spends his entire paycheck and some of my paychecks on wrestling videos and online gambling. He bought a motorcycle. He used our savings to buy crypto. He shaved his head bald. The last straw was him spending $20,000 of my savings to travel. Throughout this, Liam was incredibly disrespectful to me. Dave broke up with me when I asked him to stop hanging out with Liam and his other friends. He immediately moved in with a girl I had concerns about. I felt deeply hurt, and for the first time in my life, I felt like hurting someone in return. I was miserable, out of my mind, and called Liam over. I wanted to ruin their friendship like he ruined my relationship. He was annoyed at Dave for something else and was down for anything. I woke up the next morning realizing that I had made a huge mistake, but it was incredible. Unfortunately, my bad decision caught up to me and I got pregnant. Ironic since I had always wanted children, but I was told I was infertile. Both Liam and I were against children out of wedlock and we had a small wedding. I was ready to grit my teeth and make the best of our marriage, but surprisingly, Liam turned out to be an incredible partner and father. It was a mistake. It was the best mistake of my life. Paige was very offended that I said Liam wouldn't have been my choice initially. She said I was making myself superior. She said that she lost respect for me and would never talk to me again. She also messaged Liam to tell him what I had said. Was what I said really that bad? Edit. I should probably be clearer, but I'm a lot more unfiltered on Reddit than here. I just said that while we knew each other before, Liam was basically a one-night thing, which is true. My other friends know the truth because a few of them were there when it all unfolded. Dave was furious at first, which is understandable. But we are cordial to each other. I did not get my money back, unfortunately. But Horror Newt says, not the arsehole. I'd imagine Liam feels the same, lol. That is a wild story, but the best part is it worked out for you guys. Lose Paige as a friend. That's a weird response she had in my opinion. Glad someone else said that. Opie responded saying it was wild, but I think it worked because we were honest with each other. That doesn't stop Liam from still teasing me that I only hated him because I wanted him, but couldn't have him. Totally untrue. His obnoxious behavior outweighed his pretty boy looks. But people change, either parts of their personality. At the time our wedding rolled around, I thought we could be friends. By the end of the year, I was head over heels in love. Anute says, not the arsehole. I'm sure your husband realizes that it was a crazy start to your relationship. I would give him the reassurance that he's a wonderful father though. Opie says I make sure to remind him every day. Unusual says I need to know about Dave's reaction when he found out about you and Liam. This is the craziest story, but I love that it all worked out. Opie says he was furious at first and accused us of being hypocrites. I agree that ruining his friendship with Liam was a bad thing to do. But when your would-be husband steals thousands of dollars from you and cheats on you, anyone would want some sort of revenge. I had never wanted someone else to be hurt before, but I wanted Dave to feel as hurt as I did. Liam was angry with Dave for lying to him and using him as a cover for his affair partner. Neither of us had cheated or lied to Dave. Dave grew even more furious when he found out I was pregnant and marrying Liam. Part of the reason we were engaged for so many years was that I was infertile and he was hesitant to move forward if I wasn't able to have children. Here, shotgun weddings aren't uncommon and the number of babies born out of wedlock is less than 5%, according to a survey I saw. Eventually he calmed down and we are cordial with each other. However, I never got my money back. Unusual Potato replies that and says the audacity to be furious after everything he put you through. That was sweet, sweet revenge, especially after you got pregnant and he was hesitant to move forwards with you because of your infertility. Gets even sweeter. This is the most satisfying Reddit story I've read in a while, so thank you. Opie says, it was a failure of revenge, to be honest. I didn't break up Liam and Dave's friendship. Liam already was angry with Dave for lying to him and using him as a cover for his affair. Dave is back to a stable life and his career is growing. I never got my money back. Nevertheless, I'm happy with my life. I have an amazing husband, 2 adorable kids, and a great career. Aquin says, not the arsehole, and Paige is being very weird. It is a surprise you ended up with Liam based on your story, but it doesn't mean what you said was a bad thing. It's simply a statement of fact. Opie says, I don't know why she was so offended. It's not like she is Liam's friend. If you told me 10 years ago that I would have married Liam, I would have died laughing or screamed in horror. So OP comes in with an update and says, I got a lot more attention on my post than I thought. Long story short, Paige apologized for overstepping and we're all good now. Paige reached out to me. She was having a rough time in her own relationship / situationship and felt I was being ungrateful. I accepted her apology. However, I don't expect us to have a close friendship in the future. I also checked up on Liam. As I've said before, I adore my husband and do not want to make him feel bad. I asked him if he felt hurt by what I said. He says yes, he was deeply offended and I should make up for it with 1,000 kisses plus interest starting right now. The worst thing in my life right now is my baby kicking into my ribs. I miss being able to breathe without a foot in my organs. Several people have questioned how I got the reputation of being thoughtful when I made really bad personal decisions. Honestly, I'm fiscally responsible, organized, and an all-around a prepared person. But I'm dependent on having a stable, boring life and was unequipped to have my personal life fall apart. If I think back to what I was like 10 years ago, I had a good amount of savings, a comfortable career, and close friends. I also had a fiance who I'd been with for years and who had changed into a person I no longer recognized. Someone who lied to me, stole from me, and cheated on me. Liam actually was the one who called me after Dave broke up with me. He told me about how Dave had lied to him and used him in lies and was with the other woman. I was still in shock. He came over to me to give me some things that Dave had left in his apartment in case it was mine. Some of it was mine, some of it was Dave's trash. I sobbed and blamed him and he took it and apologized. He kissed me. I said I wanted to ruin his life like he ruined mine. Liam saw Dave as his best friend. He also had trust issues, so lying is off the table. Their friendship was already ruined, but I didn't know that. I was not good at getting revenge, at least spontaneously. We didn't use protection. I'd been told I was infertile. My previous 2 partners, my old boyfriend and Dave, never got me pregnant after years. I was ignorant and wasn't told that an infertile doesn't mean sterile. I still had a chance of getting pregnant. Having a child out of wedlock is very uncommon and looked down upon, even more than divorce. Because of that, shotgun weddings are actually pretty common. I was excited to be a mother and Liam was, to my surprise, excited to be a father. We decided to put aside our old grievances, be friends, and raise our child happily. I can say that I started falling in love with him through my pregnancy, but it was solidified after my birth. It was traumatic and I tore badly. Liam was such an attentive husband and father. We fell together so nicely, it was hard to notice when he became my soulmate. Part of the reason I hated Liam was that the way we expressed love was too similar. I need quality time and attention, and he needed quality time and affection. There's no limit to the amount of time we want to spend with loved ones. Dave was an introvert who valued time alone. When it was Dave in the middle, I felt as though Liam was stealing my limited time with him. Now it feels nice to have a partner that values and expresses the same kind of love. We are around each other constantly. Liam needs at least an uninterrupted hour a day, and more on weekends, of my attention solely on him. We could spend entire days just snuggling and kissing. We have an equal partnership. I do take on more of the mental load in terms of finances, investments, doctor's appointments, etc. But Liam acknowledges that and takes more of the physical load. He insists that I do more, while I think he does. I'm not saying either of us are perfect or that our relationship, but I am very happy with my lot in life. And I think it's fair to say there was a lot of back and forth in the comments on this one. Some people saying, there was a lot of bad decision making here, and, trying to get revenge in the first place was a bad decision. Other people saying that it's worked out well in the end, and, life is full of ups and downs and it's turning out positive. But what's your thoughts on this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, the next title is one that we've seen a fair amount of, but it's from Not Sure What to Do PA, who says, started swinging to save our marriage. 3 years later, and I'm miserable. My wife, 35 female, and I, 33 male, have been together for 10 years and have 5 kids together. We started out as strictly monogamous relationship, but as time went on, she made passing comments indicating she'd be interested in an open relationship, and each of us having the freedom to play with others. In hindsight, I don't think I realized how serious she was about wanting to do that. About 3 years ago, I noticed she began showing some telltale signs that something was going on. Always putting her phone face down, turning away from me when texting, etc. Long story short, there was a guy at work she started hardcore flirting with and was trying to hide it. She even had his contact saved in her phone under a different name, hoping I wouldn't notice. I knew something was up and called her out on it, and she came clean but insisted it was just flirting and nothing had ever happened, which I believe her on. A few weeks later, she wrote me a letter telling me that she was leaving me. Not because of this guy specifically, but because she was worried she would cheat on me eventually, as she always had a desire for variety. She assured me it had nothing to do with me or enjoying sex with me. We still were having an amazing sex quite often. For her, it made more sense to end the marriage instead of hurting me over and over by cheating. I respected her approach at this point, as she obviously did care enough to tell me her true feelings. This woman is the love of my life and the mother of my children, and I really wanted to save our marriage. On a whim, I suggested the open marriage as long as we agree on a set of rules and stayed completely honest with each other. She agreed, and we tore the letter up. In my mind, it's not what I wanted, but I thought we should at least give it a shot. Swinging initially. After writing down the rules we agreed on, see rules below, we started going to a few swinger parties and a couple of dates with other couples. We eventually decided we both liked it better if we had our own play friends and we played separately from each other, i.e. not same room playing. She'd go out with a friend one night and I might go out another night. Initially it was just her who was going out, but I could tell it was starting to bother her that I wasn't doing the same, so I made a couple of new friend with benefits. During all of this, I secretly was hoping that she would have a few experience and realize in the end she would just want me, but it was not the case. Also, I found out that a few times I would go out with my friends with benefits. I wasn't really enjoying myself. Shortly after this, I decided I was going to stop swinging and it would just be something she would do. Our rules, in case anyone was curious. No sleeping over. Honesty. Each partner will know ahead of time if there are plans to play with someone else. Just sex. Not looking for polyamorous relationships. Must use protection. We take care of each other's needs before our friends, meaning we shouldn't be playing with friends more than we are playing with each other. 3 years later. Now, 3 years later, we have gone through several long periods of time where she has had no desire to swing. Those times have been great while they lasted, but as of a few weeks ago, she has found a new friend with benefits. They are actually together right now in our home. Kids are at school, and I'm sitting here at work trying to figure out how I can keep doing this. I want her to be happy, but I want to be happy too. To my wife's credit, during this whole time, she was always super open with me. Anytime she found a new friend, she told me right away. She would tell me up front if she was trying to make plans to play. I was also very open with her about my feelings through all of this. That I wasn't enjoying it like I thought I would. That I was having some jealousy issues, especially during the time they were together. I was sitting at home with my thoughts, or at work with my thoughts like I am right now. We talked multiple times about this, but in the end, it came back to her wanting to do this to be happy. I know that if I demand she stop, she's just going to leave again. I'm not sure what the best path is at this point. As I mentioned above, we do have an open line of communication about everything. She's just not willing to give it up. I want to be happy, but I don't want to lose her, both for my sake and for the kids. Looking for some suggestions, as I can't continue to sit here and cry at work like a dope. Edit. Some are pointing out correctly that although we started this off as swinging and going to swingers parties, it evolved into an open relationship. My apologies if I posted this in the wrong sub. I couldn't find an active sub that seemed more appropriate. So there was a comment that was talking about, sort of love and happiness for everyone involved, including OP, and OP responded to it saying, "It is difficult, and believe it or not, I'm not upset with her at all. Aside from the very beginnings of this, she's been open and honest the whole time since we agreed on this. I want to be happy for her and try to be happy for her. I definitely get the appeal of the variety aspect, and there's the added bonus that she's typically more worked up for me than normal, which I love. In the last 2 weeks of her chatting and meeting this new guy, we've had sex at least once a day, which I love. I want to work on being okay with this. Truthfully, it's probably been a year since she played with anyone else, and all the original emotions came back so fast." Jacob says, "Started swinging to save our marriage," and then says, "That's all I needed to hear." I did read the rest though. "She started swinging to save her marriage. You didn't start swinging to save your marriage as much as you gave into her demands. You obviously have no desire to swing. Sadly, you fell into a trap a lot of spouses have, and it's a shame you didn't ask about it before you started. Right now, she gets to have her cake and eat it too, so to speak, while you are miserable. This is all about you now. You need to have one of those sit-down talks with her and tell her how you're feeling about this. It may end up she refuses to change, and you need to get to pick being miserable or divorce and start healing." Randauser says, "I know you don't want to hear this, but you have to let her know you can't do it anymore. If she isn't willing to make that sacrifice to keep you and her family together, then let her go. Just remember, there is a woman out there who will be happy with just you, and you'll have an amazing life with her. If your wife is willing to break her family up for some side dick, she really isn't worth keeping anyway, is she? Anywho, good luck." And Plantora says, "This isn't swinging. This isn't really what I think of an open relationship either. This comes closest to blackmail. Essentially, if you don't let me fuck other guys, then I will end this marriage and break up our family. All this talk about honesty is superfluous. I guess at least she isn't being dishonest. However, doing something over and over again that you know hurts someone and then telling the other person about it is not how you foster a loving relationship. At its best, shows you that she cares way more for herself than you, but maybe still cares for you a little. And at its worst, is just sadistic. You are miserable, and now you're stewing at work while your wife gets fucked at your home. Time to make her decide. Keep the family together or let her break it up so she can have her fun. Put the decision on her so it's not you breaking up the family. I'm truly sorry this is happening to you." So, a couple or so weeks later, OP updates and says, "I've had a handful of requests for an update and a lot has happened. My wife left me on Tuesday. Based on all the advice I received here, I had another talk with my wife and poured my heart out to her about how I'm truly feeling in regards to the open relationship. Most of the things I said were things I've said before, but I made it much clearer that I'm having major issues with this and not just minor annoyances. I told her I was not ready to call it quits on the marriage though. After all, we've been together 10 years and have 5 kids together, and I do still love her very much. Long story short, she refused to be open to discuss any compromises and also refused to go to counseling. A couple of days after this conversation, she told me she wanted out. that she hasn't been in love with me for a long time, and that the only reason she was still with me was because the swinging made it manageable for her to stay. She said a lot more also, but most of it hurtful, but I think I've expressed her point pretty clearly and don't need to go into excruciating detail. Now I know what some of you are thinking. This is exactly what I needed. I needed to be out of this toxic relationship. Even though I know this is true, god damn it, this hurts. Having spent all week crying, went to counseling by myself. I know it's for the best, but I keep thinking about all the years we've been together. Remembering the old times, our first date, when I proposed, the birth of our first daughter. God damn it, this sucks. To top all this off, she tells me today, well, I'd be interested in being play friends with you. We can have some fun occasionally. Fuck no. I'm just rambling now, so I'll wrap it up. I know in the end, I will be in a better place, but it's hard to see how just yet. Thank you to everyone who gave me advice, and yes, I realize at this point this is probably more appropriate in relationships due to the breakup and such, but I figured that here in our swinging and wanted to finish it here. And like you said, of course it's going to hurt, but like you also said, it is gonna be the best thing for you in the end. Sat there crying at work when you know she has no intention of changing whatsoever. It's just sunk cost fallacy in the end, isn't it? But whatever happens going forward, I hope you find some peace. I hope you find someone that truly loves you like you love them back. You deserve that in your life. But Margot says to OP, wow, best wishes, my man. Keep going to counseling by yourself. It'll help. I know it hurts like absolute hell, but there's a life on the other end of this, I promise. It's some stuff I know you don't want to hear. Your ex acted horribly irresponsible, selfish, mean-spirited, tone-deaf, heartless, cruel, manipulative, and ugh, it upsets me just thinking about it. You're going to be better off without her, and as much as it hurts to say, your kids are going to be better off with less of her if this is the type of person she is. It's unreal that people can go on so long being such a shell of a person to someone who's being so real to them. Stay strong, Redditor. You're going to be better off. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? It's one of the ones that you see a title and you think, oh, it's not going to be good. But in some ways, and you know, I know it's easy for me to say, sat behind the microphone, OP's dealing with all the, you know, the fallout of this. So it is very easy for me to say, but it is the best situation for OP in the end, I think. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.